People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a warm-hearted person who loved me till the end. People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a one-boy cuddly toy, my up, my down, my pride and joy.
Okay, stop. Remember how to crank it up?
I believe so.
Okay. Show me what you know. There you go. Yeah, you just hold that starter button in until you hear it crank, then you release it. You don't just bump it.
Okay.
Okay, what I want you to do for right now is I want you to go down the cul-de-sac, turn around, come back up, turn around, go back down until you feel like you're fairly comfortable. Then what we're going to do, I think we're going to get rained out here. Then what you're going to do is we're going to go around the block a couple of times. You'll lead and I'll follow you. And we'll do about 10 miles an hour tops. Now you do remember you got to watch out for sand and rocks on the road, especially if you're turning. And when you go to put your feet down, make sure you're not putting your feet down on sand or rocks, or they could slip out from under you. Okay, got it?
Yes.
All right, go ahead. Slowly. You don't have to rev the engine too high. Okay, I'm going to go get on my bike. I'm going to pull up here. I want you to stay to the right side of the road. Watch out for traffic. Slow down for curves. Make sure if you see a car coming that you stay out of their way. If you hear me blow my horn, you immediately get as far right as you can and stop.
Okay.
Okay? Don't go any more than about 10 or 15 miles an hour. And again, slow down for your curves. Make sure you're looking up ahead. Don't be looking down at the ground. All right? That's my boy. He's doing what I taught him there. That is a yield sign to the left and right of us, but cars tend not to stop there. I've seen people blow through that going full speed, doing 40 miles an hour. With cell phones stuck to their side of their heads. It's been a while since he's ridden, so I'm surprised that he remembers some of this stuff. It's a good thing. He's only doing about 10 miles an hour. Okay, you're doing pretty good, and I noticed you remembered to look at that yield sign. I noticed you looked both ways as you were approaching it. That's real good. If you're comfortable, you can go a little bit faster. Okay? Just be very careful, and always remember you're looking ahead of you, not down at the road, because what's ahead of you is going to come up very quick, and that's what will get you killed. You need to know what dangers are ahead of you, to your left, to your right, and ahead. Okay? Make sure you keep a safety zone of, I don't know, like maybe 50 to 100 feet, depending on how fast you're going. Obviously, the faster, the further ahead you need to look. But it's like, you see that sand right there? Yeah. If we were going across that sand, or if we were coming down that street there and making a right turn, we'd want to look out for that sand. We're also going to want to watch our rear view mirrors and make sure that no cars are coming up behind us that are trying to pass us. Because what'll happen is, if you're trying to make a turn or something, like you're slowing down, cars will come up behind you, and even if you got your flashers on, they'll try to pass you, and you'll be making your left turn and get whacked. So make sure you know what's behind you, what's in front of you, and what's to your sides. All right? Okay, go ahead. Only go as fast as you're comfortable. take a moment here and talk about how I got into motorcycles. I actually started riding when I was 10 years old. The first time, well, I can't say the first time I was on a motorcycle. My older brother had a motorcycle when I was a real little kid, and let me ride it a couple of times with him. The first time I ever drove a motorcycle, it was really just a little 3-horsepower scooter that some kid in the neighborhood had. Some kid I went to school with let me ride his in his backyard, and it was just an absolute blast. For that Christmas, my dad got me a similar scooter to his. It was a little Sears 3.5 horsepower mini bike. I don't know, it had like 8-inch big old knobby fat tires on it, and a 3.5 horsepower Tecumseh lawnmower engine. And at the time we lived in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and every weekend we'd go visit my grandparents kind of out in the country. They lived in a big old double wide trailer. There were a lot of dirt roads around there, and I used to ride that little mini bike all day long down those red dirt roads. And that kind of gave me the original motorcycling bug. And of course, when I hit my 20s, I bought myself a 550 Enduro, and after wrecking it twice and injuring the same leg, I kind of gave up on motorcycles, and I sold it. Then here about 3 years ago, last month, I bought that Little Ruckus there. And the Little Ruckus, of course, increased the motorcycle riding bug, so now I own the DN01, which I got back in June? Yeah, June. So anyway, that's how I got into motorcycles, and I've loved them all my life. It's just there was a period of about 20 years that I did not ride because it honestly scared the hell out of me. Now I'm hoping to give my son there the bug too. I think he's doing pretty good. He's got a long ways to go. It's kind of funny. I started riding the motorcycle when I was 10, if you want to include scooters as motorcycles. And actually I learned to drive a manual shift car when I was 10 years old. My uncle had a old Volkswagen Bug that he had chopped down into a dune buggy. And so I've been driving cars since I was 10 years old, manual shift. My 18-year-old daughter still doesn't even know how to drive an automatic, and I don't really think she has any desire to even get her license at this point. My son, on the other hand, I don't know. He's probably going to want to get a motorcycle when he gets a little older. Not sure what it is, but when I was a kid, a lot of the young folks I knew already knew how to drive, even before they were legally able to get a license. But these days, it seems like some kids, even when they're legally able to get a license, don't have any interest in it. I don't know, maybe my daughter's a rarity there, but yeah, my boy's doing good. He knew that car wasn't going to slow down for him. He was going to pull into his lane, so he went all the way to the right. And I think he must be getting tired. He's saying he's going to turn. Is that it? Pull the Ruckus up in the garage, turn it off and park it, pull the key, and come on, hop on. We'll go around the block on the DN01 a couple of times.